All right, hello everyone. Today we're going to be discussing budgeting and resource planning. Um, every project requires resources, and resources include what? Money, people, time, equipment, technology, materials, information, right? Facilities, or possibly even outside vendors. So, a project, you may have a great idea, strong leadership, and a clear schedule. But if the budget and the resources is not planned properly, the project can quickly turn into problems, right? And so it's like what? Show me the money. Show the money. We're going to be talking about the money, people. Okay. So when, as a project manager and looking at that, you're going to be asking, how much will this project cost? Okay. How much will this cost? Not how much you allotted, how much is given, how much will the project actually cost? And resource planning helps with that. And so here's another question you should, as a project manager, be asking: what people, tools, materials, and support will we need to complete the work for this project? Okay. So, and you have that budget because you don't want to operate in unlimited conditions. You don't want to do that, right? Uh, organizations must make decisions about how to use limited funds responsibly. Because, like I said earlier, no one has unlimited funds. Unlimited. There is a limit. There's a number, right? So your project budget must estimate the cost needed to complete the project successfully. Okay. And your costs are going to include labor, possibly software, equipment, travel, training, supplies, maybe even consulting fees. If you hire Dr. Williams as a consultant, facilities, marketing, and even some contingency reserves, right? So a strong budget is going to help you, the project manager, right? Some sponsors and your stakeholders understand what the project is going to require financially and determine whether the project is realistic, affordable, and in line with the organizational priorities, right? So a weak budget can create serious issues. The team may run out of money. It happens. What the leaders lose confidence. That happens. Stakeholders may question the value of the project. That's going to happen, right? Or you might have to reduce the scope. You reduce the scope, you're probably going to the project's probably going to fail. Work's going to be delayed. That's going to happen, and the quality of the work or the project is going to be lowered, probably, right? So, budgeting is not just about numbers. As a project manager, it's about your responsibility, your planning, and your trust, right? Now, the resource planning it helps you focus on identifying what is needed to complete the project work, right? Resource planning includes what? One big resource planning that I always use in when I work with my clients and my different projects is human resources, HR. I need an HR person because why? That resource planning, right? You're going to need human resources, physical resources, technology resources, and financial resources, right? With HR, it includes the people needed for the project, right? So my HR person is not only there to help me with figure out who I need. It's going to help me figure out who to get, right? Such as assistant project managers, right? Of course, the team members, subject matter experts, maybe trainers, designers, technicians, vendors, support staff. That's why HR personnel, the HR and having personnel for that is important. The physical resources may include, I may need a room, all right? I might need rooms, equipment, supplies, materials, facilities, right? The technology resources will include what? Software, platforms, databases, devices, technical support. And of course, the financial resources is always the money needed to pay for all of that, right? So your resource planning is important because, having a schedule, it does not mean that the resources are available. Just because you have a schedule don't mean that the resources are going to be there, right? when it comes to your schedule, right? A task may be listed, but if the right person is unavailable, or the software is not purchased, or the equipment is not ready, then the task may be delayed. I had that happen a couple times on projects in the past, right? So, as a project manager, you must not only ask what needs to be done, you need to ask who or what is needed to get it done, right? So let's go back and let's use an example I used previously, saying that let's say Reynolds is designing the entrepreneurship course where the students are using business planning software to develop a final business plan. I keep it simple, right? The project budget, it should include the software access. It should include all the instructional materials. It should include the faculty development time. It should include technological support, the course design support, and even possible training resources, right? The resource plan should include the professor, the instructional designer, the department leadership, the software vendor, students, right? The learning management system support, and even assessment tools. If those resources not planned early, that's when problems are going to happen, right? Students may not receive their access software on time. Their assignments may not be aligned with the platform. The faculty may not have enough time to build the course properly. But in that situation, the technology, the tech support may not even be ready when the students need the help, right? So all that connects directly to the kind of work, that I do, and I talk about it like that because it connects directly to that, right? I need to make sure that I have the right tools, the right people, the right timelines, the right rubrics, the right learning materials, and support systems in place if I'm going to be working on a project on curriculum design, in which I do have that. I've worked on those, right? I'm working on those, and I work on them, inside and outside of Reynolds, right? So what I'm saying to you is, it's the action that's put in place when it comes to your budgeting and your resource planning. If you want to consider previous example I used before, consider a leadership development program. And I love talking about leadership development programs because that's what I do, my forte, right? So if an organization wants to launch a leadership academy or professional development cohort, then the budget may include the fees for the people who are going to facilitate the courses. They're going to include that, right? They're going to include the curriculum design. They're going to include the training materials. They're going to include the venue costs, the marketing, the assessment tools, the technology, and anything else that I can think about that's going to be involved with developing and launching this leadership academy or professional development cohort, in which I'm actually doing that right now, right? Your resources, in doing a program like that is going to include executive sponsors, where I got facilitators, I got participants, I got administrative support, I have communication staff, I have evaluation tools, and I might even have community organizational partners. So, as a strong project manager, I think through these needs before the program even begins, right? So, for example, through TMTSI, my company, and my 3SP leadership framework, I launched that leadership development experience to make it more powerful than a framework, right? Because all that planning requires that people, process, budget, materials, delivery format, and participant experience and performance measures, okay? Because it's going to require all of that, right? And if any of those resources are misaligned, then the program may not run. It may not deliver its full value, and I'm all about delivering full value. So your budgeting and your resource planning must connect directly to the purpose and expected outcomes of the project. Now, what's the leadership aspect involved in budgeting and resource planning? Because Dr. Williams is going to come with the leadership side of it, right? To be a strong project manager, you must communicate honestly what the project needs and what trade-offs may be required. You got to be honest about that. Whether they're saying this is the budget, but that's not going to be enough. You got to be honest about that. If the budget is reduced, then as a project manager, you might need to discuss changes in the scope, the quality, the schedule, or even staffing. I've done that, right? And so when you're talking about budgeting and resource planning, like all the other areas we talked about, it's essential because the budget is going to help you define the financial investment required. The resource planning is going to help identify the people, the tools, materials, the technology, and support needed to complete the work. So remember this when it comes to budgeting and resource planning. A project cannot be successful if the work is planned, but the resources are missing, right? Strong project managers plan resources responsibly. They communicate the budget realities clearly, and they make sure the project has what it needs to deliver the value with discipline and accountability.